Shalom Akim, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of great strong rule well, to the Akim Akwat, try the four corners of the earth, holding on in sincerity and in truth, to the gospel of the Lord Amashak Yahushai, Shalom, Shalom, this is Brother Nasha, DC Camp, another end times lesson for the hopeful elect. Yeah, you should be aware that there was a NATO summit in Turkey, and you know, Babylon just needs to convince its so-called allies to step up their preparations for war. You know, they have to invest capital into their military-industrial complex, and it's only a matter of time that you're going to see this so-called war against Iran move over violently into the next chapter, right? So they met in Turkey, and Trump was there, and then you had protests. So you just have to be ready for the drama, to go into overdrive. And then you hear about Trump, talking about the risks, he faces, as per attempts on his life. So it's just part of the journey, of this ministry to hear so-called world leaders talk about the the straits they have to go through. Yeah, so it's the Lord that's paving the way for them to be judged. Okay, that's just a piece of the puzzle. All right. So the Allies met in Turkey, Ankara, Turkey, to prepare themselves for the next things they need to do. Yeah, even though they're not on the same page, the summit has to also take place. So, yeah, it doesn't sit well with the people that don't want war, but this war is necessary, all right? That's why I need to read this precept. This is Revelation chapter 9 and 12. One war is past, and and behold, there come two woes more after. Revelation 9 and 12. One war is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. Yeah. So World War One already took place, World War Two already took place. Now we're in the midst of World War Three. Right. So it's gonna go full blown very soon, and that's the reason why you have to stay informed. You have to be circumspect with what is taking place on the face of the earth. Yeah, because this is no joke. They might be laughing at Trump, making fun of his speech that he's losing his scruples. They need to pull the 25th Amendments of the Constitution on him, but that doesn't change the order that the Lord has set forth. All right. So I'll play the clip.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. We turn now to Ankara, Turkey, where the NATO summit is on its second and final day. President Trump's dominated the headlines by restating Greenland should be controlled by the United States, denouncing European allies and declaring the ceasefire over with Iran, while calling Iran's leader scum and a cancer. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte praised the most recent U.S. attacks on Iran, calling them absolutely necessary while telling Trump, quote, "I'm with you." Ruta's comments came after Trump castigated NATO allies for refusing to aid the U.S. and Israel in attacks on Iran. Ahead of the talks, Ruta praised NATO members who've committed to spending at least 5% of their gross domestic product on their militaries, a key demand of the Trump administration.
Yeah, so also remember that Turkey is also an extension of the kingdom of Edom. All right, so don't get carried away that they're just Arabs, they're just Edomites that practice Islam. Yeah, you also have Ishmaelites among them too. So it's a mixture of Edom and Ishmael, and then you have the folks from Aram there too. That's folks from Syria. All right. So you got Jakes also there too. So it's mostly Edom and Ishmael that dominate that region. All right. So you just have to be ready, man. To see what they're gonna do next because the people don't want the war, but the machine has to proceed forward. It's necessary that these evils take place upon the face of the earth. Yeah, so let me get up a precept for the meantime. All right, let's see what we have. So let's see. Blah 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 blah. All right. Yeah, Second Ezra's chapter 14 and 16. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. All right. Second Ezra's 14 and 16. So you're gonna see more chaos. And then verse 17 says, "For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much more the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein." Yeah, so it's gonna be bad, man. It's gonna be bad. In this last days for the people that are upon the face of the earth. The ones that are not covered by the word of the Lord, that are not covered by the blood of the Lord. Hamashiach Yahushai. Verse 18 says, "The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come?" Yep, so you just gotta trust in the name of the Lord. Hamashiach Yahushai. Ba'ashimukal Kadash. Yeah, these people don't want to endure, the wrath that's coming upon the face of the. They don't want it to happen, man. But the elect want it to happen. These things are necessary for our salvation to be realized. All right.
Trump, meanwhile, refused to rule out additional U.S. troop reductions in Europe, but earlier today he did praise Turkey's president, Recep Tayyip Erdogan.
I like Erdogan. I'll tell you, I like President Erdogan. He rolled out the red carpet. He's terrific. He could have gone into the war. A lot of people saying, like with Bibi, I like Bibi. I think Bibi was a terrific wartime prime minister. But Bibi said rough things yesterday about Turkey and Erdogan. And I said, I spoke to him. I said, he could have gone into the war because he doesn't like Israel much. And he doesn't like Bibi much. And he didn't go because of me. And this is a military power. Millions of soldiers. Turkey is very strong.
On Tuesday, Trump announced he would lift U.S. sanctions on Turkey that were imposed in 2020 over its purchase of a Russian air defense system. Trump made the announcement following a lavish state dinner hosted by Turkish President Erdogan, whom he called Turkey's biggest asset. This comes as the mayor of Istanbul and other Turkish politicians, civil society figures, and journalists remain jailed on politically motivated charges.
Yeah, so you're gonna see lots of these things happen uh, before World War III goes full steam. It's gonna happen here in the States too. Folks are gonna be cast into jail. The book of Revelation tells you that, man. Tells you clearly what you have to prepare for. All right, everything that's written in the book has to be fulfilled. Okay, so Revelation 2:10 says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give you a crown of life." So remember, man, folks are going to be thrown in jail. You're going to have people getting hunted down, you know, with all these warrants and agenda of the elites to have their way. So a lot of people are going to get rolled over, man. Folks are going to be, eliminated from of the face of the earth. As we are proceeding towards our salvation, man, these things are necessary. It's going to be painful. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be horrible. That's one thing a lot of people don't want to deal with. Yep, that's one thing a lot of people don't want to deal with. The chaos that's coming upon the face of the earth. Alright, so Jeremiah chapter 50 and 16 tells you clearly, says, "Cut off the sower from Babylon, and him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest. For fear of the oppressing sword." So when there's persecution of the people that are coming up against the government, it's going to create a vibration of people just want to leave and forget about their American citizenship, forget about their plans, to make America their primary residence. It's just going to make people just move on, call it rap. All right, "For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn every one to his people, and they shall flee every one to his own land." So it's going to be horrible in the last days. A lot of people don't understand that the time we're living in, man, it's going to cause a lot of people to be dead. It's going to cause a lot of death. That's what's it's going to happen. That's what the scripture prepares you for, man. It prepares you for the chaos that's going to be unleashed upon the face of the earth. All right, so let me get another precept. It's going to be let me see, Second Ezra chapter 5:1. It says, "Nevertheless, as coming the tokens." All right, so this meeting that they had in Turkey is one of the tokens. It's one of the signs of the times. Second Ezra 5:1. "Nevertheless, as coming the tokens, behold, the days shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of the truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith." So it's going to be horrible for so many people upon the face of the earth, man. The famine of the word is it's approaching, and you're gonna see so much calamity and chaos, and that's the reason why this war with Iran, look as if it's cooling up, but then it's sparking again. Yeah. So when you look at the map of what you have over there, Turkey, it seems the claiming that Turkey is a very strong ally of NATO. You can see that Turkey is very close. It's a country close to Iran. You can see that right there. It borders Iraq. It borders Syria. All right, Armenia, Georgia. All right, this is Tehran right there. Okay, that's the capital of Iran. So you could see Turkey is very, very key to an invasion of Iran. All right, if they want to attack Iran, Turkey is going to play a major role. So you just have to expect to see how the Lord is going to prove His plan. Is Turkey going to remain in the alliance with NATO or not? That's something we're going to see in the very, very near future. All right. So, yep. So Iran is not going to be able to withstand against NATO alone, man. So that's where Russia, China are going to step in. Afghanistan, Pakistan. They're going to have to see what they're going to do. Yeah, because they're going to have to make a choice. So you can see Mongolia will have to make a choice. Romania, Greece, Austria, Poland, Belarus, Germany, all these countries over there in NATO, they have to make a choice. Algeria, Libya, Egypt. So you can see how the Lord has orchestrated the migration of people to set them in a location for this World War III to happen. You have Morocco up there in the north of Africa. You have Tunisia. You have Sudan. All right. You have Mauritania. Yeah, Ethiopia also. So what's going to happen? Now look at Yemen at the bottom of Saudi Arabia. All right. So it's not that far-fetched, man, to see how things are being placed. Our people used to be upset that Ishmael, massacred a lot of our people, millions of our people over there in Africa. But it's the will of the Lord to set up the stage for World War III. That's just how it is. When you feel bad about your oppression, and then you just take a look at the map, and then you read the scriptures, then you understand it was done for a reason. With our oppression, the Lord created a way to set up shop for World War III. So you could see how the groundwork has been laid. So it's just amazing how the Lord set up things. When you feel bad about not having certain things, and to make ends meet. Yeah, you just read the scriptures, man. You see the architect in action. You see the power of the Lord, in full display. All right. Now you're gonna have to, deal patiently. Trust in the Lord, wait upon the Lord, and see what else is gonna have to reveal unto you. You can see what's happening there. Look at that. That's the Red Sea. Okay. So what's gonna happen if Cush don't allow no vessels to go through the Red Sea, and then the folks over there in Yemen says no bueno, you're not going through. All right. Ethiopia also, Eritrea. Yeah. So And then you have the issue with Ethiopia. Ethiopia needs access, to that coast. All right, they need access. So what do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna have to come to some sort of agreement. All right, so you have Eritrea blocking access to the coasts. So Ethiopia is basically in a tight spot. All right, and it's just what it is. So now you see how the Lord has set things up. All right, so now you have all those allies of the United States over there by the Persian Gulf, Oman, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain. Let's see, yeah, Bahrain's not that far. All right, and then you have, yeah, that's Kuwait right there, Iraq. Okay, so there's the issue that there's a controversy that the Lord is going to have to resolve, man. So that's one thing about this ministry, right? You cannot ignore the groundwork that the Lord has set in place, all right? So, Isaiah 34:8, for it is the day of the Lord's judgment, the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. Yeah, so this is how the Lord is going to settle uh, his arguments with the enemies of his people. All right, so expect the Lord to bring down harsh judgment. All right, so you can read Revelation chapter 17. It tells you about how America and NATO are basically working together, all right, to stay on top. They want to stay on at the top of the food chain. They want to be at the top of the food pyramid, and that comes with a price. All right, so yeah, you just have to admit, that the Lord is in control, man. You just have to be patiently watching. All right, so yeah, it's a long topic to go into, but basically this is just enough, man. You could see, yeah, you could see what you're gonna have to observe in these last days, man. Turkey is on the border with Iran, so that's a spot. That's a spot that has to be monitored. You're gonna have to have lots of security apparatus down there, man. Military observation posts. So that's what we're looking forward to, man. Those borders of Iran are very, very long. You have Turkey, you have Iraq, you have Azerbaijan, you have Armenia, you have on the other side of the Persian Gulf, you have Turkmenistan. Okay, you have Afghanistan. So it's tough. You got Pakistan also. So yeah, Iran is in a tough spot. They're in a tough spot. So only the Lord knows how this chaos is gonna play out. All right, Shalom.